name is Katie McCarthy, and I present to you The Dope Show. We've got Sarah Cronin right here, and Kira Horowitz over in the wings. She's a real lady. And we've got some silly stuff for you. We're going to be at the Improv Boston on the 30th, and we would also like for you to please donate to the Boston Hassle right now. The universe, and I let go of you. Anyway, I found a letter. My twin sister Carla has been lost at sea for many years now, and her letter recently floated up to shore, and I just want to read to you what she had to say to me. Okay. Carla, I miss you, and whatever we can do, we're looking out for you, baby girl. Okay, here's Carla, what she has to say. Day 5. I'm still alive. Who would have thought that the Rob Gronkowski party cruise could have been capsized from the hole DJ Khaled bore into it with his jet ski? 3 days of beads, booze, and boys over. Just like that. But an apex of joy portends a valley of doom. I know this. Like when I was with my ex, Big Fitzy, at the Salem Willows, right? I'm about to score the highest score in skee-ball, right? And then I turn around, and what do I see? I see Big Fitzy Frenching my friend Tammy. Like she's some drain to be unclogged. God bless the medical team at Spring Break 2008. Those are the thoughts I'm thinking as my body is flung from the Rob Gronkowski party cruise into the Atlantic, like a Newport butt flung from a Camaro flailing into the Revere Beach Parkway. But by the grace of God, I saw land on the distant horizon. Luckily, I had enough Sky Raspberry Cream vodka to numb the physical pain, and enough Diet Red Bull to energize me to make it to shore. And I know I can do it. I'm from Lynn. Lynn, city of sin. Yeah, Sin City, like Vegas. But the only gamble you're gonna make is if whether or not the guy at Kelly's accidentally dropped something into your roast beef that'll make you fail your drug test. You can't take the Lynn out of a girl. I saw the rims of my coffee collage with Oxys. I don't leave a Stop and Shop without spitting on at least one rude bag boy. Nah, I've shanked a none. Sister Mary, I don't think the Lord puts a limit as to how many of his bloods you are allowed to drink. I fight for what I want, and I wanted to live. I made it to the shore, and I passed out. I woke up to the sound of Rob Gronkowski himself and the rapper Flo Rida both doggy paddling towards land. We weaved a hut out of the commemorative beer koozies and thongs that had floated to shore. The very resourceful Gronk and Flo Rida had the foresight to store several dozen nips. Sorry, her handwriting is terrible. Several dozen nips of Jaeger in their cavities, so we got blasted. Day 2. I woke before dawn to a deep purple sky and a big hazy yellow moon, and a yell from above. Flo Rida had climbed to the top of a palm tree where he was screaming, "The moon is my mother, and I need that moon milk."
Yeah, I'm getting them out.
Gronk and I cried for him to get down, but Flo Rida remained. "I'm gonna drink some moon milk," were his last words before he fell to the earth. The impact instantly cracked his neck. Gronk and I stared at each other, and Gronk's stomach rumbled, then mine. We looked at Flo Rida, then we looked at each other. Then we looked at Flo Rida, then we looked at each other. Then we looked at Flo Rida, then we looked at each other. And look, we'd run out of food, me and Gronk, and man cannot live by Jaeger alone. So, we put Flo Rida on a Spitfire, twirling and twirling the last time his earthly vessel would spin right round.
Are you talking to me?
I didn't think it was possible for his physical body to be more tasteful than his fantastic body of musical work. But life is full of wondrous surprises. Day 3. Well, me and Gronk spent the day mostly eating Flo Rida and...
What about that?
Day 4. I'm nauseous from hunger because we ate all of Flo Rida, even the bones. And the worst part, I had started my menstrual period. And the drop of that egg, the shedding of uterine lining, reminds me of the potential of life. Gronk and I, we hadn't even thought about how to get off the island. I'm looking at the ocean like, how big is this thing? How far? And then I see 265 pounds of Gronk chasing seagulls, trying to kiss him on the beaks. Look at all these fine and good birds, he said to me. Who's ready to party, my avian bros? And when I get hungry, I don't mess around, all right? He could feed me for at least a week. I told him, hey, look up. Big Papi and LMFAO are in a golden helicopter in the sky throwing out beads to the best dancer. I threw a rock and I knocked him down. I kneeled over him and I smashed his skull, just like I did to Ricky McCarthy after he cut my mother in line at the Demoulas. Day 5. I'm still alive. Look, when I said he could feed me for a week, I meant now, because I ain't on a diet here or nothing. I ate all the Gronk. And though I've crossed many boundaries in the name of survival, there's one I couldn't. A real lady would never eat a heart. Oh my God. Carla, if you're out there, we're still looking for you, baby girl. Just please stay strong. And please donate to the Boston Hassle immediately. Please. Next, I'd like to present to you a wonderful storyteller and a great woman. Her name is Sarah Cronin.
Hi. This is a story I wrote about my otter. An otter taught me to dream walk. Here's how. Close your eyes and picture a two-dimensional dreamscape devoid of oxygen, where gravity is 4 times what it is on Earth. Now take away the oxygen and insert towering structures made of bleached bones and tiny mirrored cubes. This was my otter's dreamscape, and along the crumbling, blood-blackened paths, we have walked together. I met my otter in late 2016 as the world was ending and our days were beginning to turn into a hellish gauntlet of hateful ideas and disintegrating democratic power structures. He was sunbathing on a patch of blue ice, slowly opening and closing his little fist as he watched the clouds pass over his concrete pen. Otter, I breathed softly, stepping closer to the little fence. Just then, a large group of school children appeared around the enclosure, shouting and jostling for a good view. In a strange moment of silence, a current of psychic electricity seemed to pass through the crowd. Otter, otter, otter. The children began to chant in unison, quietly at first, and then with an increasing vigor. I picked up a small stone and winged it at the nearest child. The otter screamed, and a black tunnel tore open the sky between 2 pine trees. Before I knew what was happening, a shimmering orange duplicate of my otter appeared before me and closed his fist around the smallest finger of my left hand. We drifted upward toward the tunnel, the children crying and screaming below us. My otter paused and turned his dark eyes toward mine. "Let's go," I said. A loud ripping noise happened as we entered the black hole. My clothes flapped away as coarse brown fur began to sprout from my forearms. Otter grasped my paw and whispered the opening sentences of the Da Vinci Code backwards. We were traveling inside a gelatinous hexagon of infinite formlessness, seconds peeling away from our consciousness like tattered strips of sunburned skin. And then all at once, a dark ridge of bone appeared in the distance, enveloped in a hazy cloud of atmospheric gas. I tried to make words and realized I had lost the power of speech. My tongue felt stiff and confused in my mouth. We saw the ridge, and then suddenly we were on it, a damp, cold mist clinging to our fur. "Whose dream is this?" I tried to ask. "This is the 29th parallel," said Otter simply, somehow understanding the clipped barking noises coming from my face. You have been granted temporary asylum from the present, Otter continued. Look over there, he gestured to a roiling pit of black sulfur I hadn't noticed before. That is your reality, Otter laughed. I stared into the depths and started to sweat. I stared and I stared, the drowning concepts of my broken world somersaulted wetly amidst the inky goo. Civil liberty and human rights combined to form a sodden carcass, clinging limply to a charred rock poking out of the depths of the sulfur lake. As I watched, a wave of undulating slime catapulted upward and took the shape of the 45th President of the United States. Rocketed from its rotting face hole, spewing onto the twisted limbs of the limp carcass. Otter adjusted his sunglasses, chuckling softly. That is your dream, he spoke, the dream of America. I tore my eyes from the wreckage and tried to breathe. My whiskers began to tingle, and off in the distance, the gas clouds parted momentarily, revealing a blinking tower of mirrored cubes. Come with me, said Otter. To be continued. That is the story of my otter, and I would ask that you donate to the Boston Hassle because they're putting on this really cool telethon for you, for viewers at home. And also, please come to the Dope Show. It's April 30th at 7:30 p.m. at the Improv Boston. And now, I present to you Kira, the majestic woman of the Dope Show comedy show.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I just want to thank the other ladies. You've given me so much to think about. We are Kira Horowitz, and I am just so honored to be here to be part of the Hassle and the Dope Show. The Dope Show often allows me to present my research to interesting crowds that I normally otherwise wouldn't get to talk to. For those of you who haven't been following my research, you might not know my life's work is to answer an unanswerable question. And that question is, what is the deal with Tom Petty? Friends, today I don't have an answer for that question. The work continues. But I'm excited to announce that we have cracked the code on one of the questions within the question itself. And that question is, what is the deal with Tom Petty's cameo in the Kevin Costner movie, The Postman? I'm sure as all of you already know, The Postman is a 1995 film about a post-apocalyptic world in which Kevin Costner saves humanity by delivering the mail. The scene in question with Tom Petty, he comes across a small, safe town looking for escape, where he runs into Tom Petty as the town leader, playing himself. Kevin Costner says, "I know you. You're famous." To which TP replies, "I used to be." We're working here on three assumptions, the facts of this case, with Tom Petty playing himself in a post-apocalyptic film. Assumption 1, Tom Petty survives the end of the world and makes it to Boundary Dam, the Pacific Northwest, where this takes place. Assumption 2, Tom Petty rose the ranks to become the leader of a city called Bridge City. And finally, assumption 3, that Tom Petty organized a series of transportation via cable car over the dam and away from Bridge City, which is how, of course, we all remember Kevin Costner escapes from the bad guys, as played by someone who doesn't matter. So let's get into assumption 1. I'm really excited to talk to you about it. Tom Petty survives the apocalypse and makes it to the Pacific Northwest. Here's what we know. Tom Petty likely owns several homes in the continental U.S. We know this from the famous Reuben stories I previously published, in which a friend of my ex-boyfriends told me that he went to a party at Tom Petty's house on Long Island, and he wasn't there, he was at another house, but they all had a really good time. I'm sure you're reading between the lines of what I'm saying there. Based on the Rubin stories, we know that he would probably have a house on the West Coast that most likely puts him in Los Angeles as a cultural hub for artisans like Tom Petty. In the post-apocalyptic canon, we all know that the first step when the world ends is to get out of the cities and into nature. Tom Petty would easily make it out of California using the greatest currency there would be at this point in time, and that is fame. And that leads us into assumption 2, that he would become the leader of this bridge city. This fame, this worldwide acclaim, would easily put him in a leadership place within the local community that he was in, even as systems are breaking down. This is a small town bridge city. It's near a water source. You always remember from the film that they always say that they lay their guns down at the entry of the town. This is very Tom Petty. This would make sense that Tom Petty would easily become a leader of this town based on his gentle soul and kind heart and huge, huge fame. I hear your next question. I hear you. He's too old to be in this futuristic movie. I have done the research, and I'm here to tell you, the movie takes place in the year 2013. That would be approximately 4 years ago. And you may have read my previous paper in which I explained that Tom Petty has been and always will be 60 years old. This is based on the monkey paws theory about a wish gone wrong to live forever that Tom Petty most likely took. That leads us to our third assumption. I'm still having a tough time with this, and I would welcome comments and requests for collaboration. And that is, how did Bridge City Cable Car lend itself to this great system allowing Kevin Costner to escape? It's really the hardest one to prove at this point. My running theory is that there is an existing system in place, and that Tom Petty would have used the people in the town and their knowledge in order to hack the system and allow Kevin Costner to escape. The goggles that he wears are just a bonus. He's a stylish man. I'll be giving more information about this at the next TEDx Methuen if you'd like to come see me. You can also find me on The Dope Show on Facebook if you'd like to email me and talk some more about it. Very much looking forward to your comments. Thank you so much. I'd like to bring my sisters in arts and up here to again ask you, please, BostonHassle.com. We need your money. We want a space. Thank you so much. Please donate right now. We're from The Dope Show. Come see us sometime.
Yep, they're done. They're out. Yep.